Hey guys, Dr. Brady here with Health Launch, and let's face it, sciatica sucks. It's not a lot of fun. So what we want to do today is I want to give you a couple stretches that you can do at home to help release that sciatic nerve and hopefully get you some relief. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so the first stretch I have for you guys is what's called the Pigeon Stretch. Now there's a couple different modifications that I'll show you in this video here, but the first way that you can do it is you're basically going to go down onto your side this way. You can just let one leg hang out that way. We're going to try to get our leg close to about a 90-degree angle, maybe slightly less, because the farther you go out, it torques the hip a little bit. So we want to get that just a little bit below 90 here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take this leg, I'm going to go back, lift up onto the top here, and really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach my chest over my knee here. That's really kind of the aim with this one. You really should feel it in the back of the hip here. Now again with this one, as we talked about in our low back stretching video, you don't want to hunch forward. The goal isn't to get your chest to the floor. It's really to feel that stretch here. Now what you can do is as you're in this position here, you can start to move one side versus another, and you may find as you rotate from side to side, you may feel more of a stretch and more of a pull in a certain direction. So wherever you feel that, just hold on to that stretch, and you're gonna wanna hold this one for about 30 seconds to even a minute at some times. Now another variation of the Pigeon Stretch is basically you can do it on your bed, you can do it on a couch. For some of you, if that's a little bit of a tricky position to get into, another way you can do this is just using a chair, bench, bed, couch, whatever you got handy. Now what you're gonna do with this one is you're gonna turn to the side. One leg's gonna be off the couch, let's say. The other leg is going to be again at that angle, but this time we're not going to have it flat against the couch. We're just going to have it at a little bit of an angle this way. Now what you're going to do, you're going to sit up nice and tall. We're then going to take our hands, pulling the knee towards our hip this way, and then leaning over. Now the reason you're pulling in like this is it's going to help engage the stretch quicker. So when you pull in this way, it helps engage it faster so you don't have to lean over as much. So we're going to pull that in towards us, lean over, and you should feel a nice deep stretch into the back of the hip, into that piriformis muscle. So the next stretch we have for you is what we call a supine knee to chest, but there's a slight variation we're going to show with this one. So basically with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to lie all the way back down like this, legs flat. We're going to take our knee, so this is the knee that you have the sciatic nerve issue going on. We're going to bring that to our chest this way. And what we're going to do is we're then going to bring it across and back down. So it'll look a little bit like this. We're going to bring it up using our hands to engage that knee there, pushing in towards the floor, and then reaching over this way. Again, when we push the knee into the floor, we're engaging that stretch into that piriformis quicker. So we're bringing it to the chest, pushing towards the floor, and now reaching over until you feel a stretch in the back of that hip this way. And again, with this one, you can hold this for 30 seconds to a minute. These are big muscles, so you want to get a nice deep stretch on this one. Now that I have you here, the third stretch I have for you is the iron cross. Now there's a couple variations I'm going to show you with this one. The typical iron cross is you bring your hands out to the side, leg up, reaching over this way. Now for some of you, this may be a difficult position to get into. If this is tough to get your foot all the way out this way, what you can do is you can just bring that behind the knee and just let your knee kind of fall. And if you want to add more weight to it, you just start to slowly bring your foot out. The farther your foot goes out, the more of a stretch you're going to get into your hip, into your low back even. This is going to be really helpful to open up your low back with something like this. The real key here is you want to keep the arms flat on the floor, just letting gravity do the stretch for you. You're not trying to crank it, you're not trying to torque it. Just let everything kind of fall to the floor, let gravity do the stretch with this one. Now, as you're in this position, really the big key here is taking nice, big, deep breaths, really trying to open the low back with this, and just give this one time. This one you can do a minute to 2 minutes at a time and just gently let that open. The key is when you finish this stretch, you're gonna bring the leg back down towards your other leg. I don't want you trying to lift it up this way. I want you just to bring it back down towards the middle, find that neutral position again. Then you're gonna repeat on the other side. Now, the next one is going to be a hamstring stretch. Your hamstrings, for many people, get really tight. If you're sitting for any length of time, the hamstrings end up getting very contracted, very tight, can pull into the low back. Now, a really easy way to do this, and really the key with this is we want to keep you standing with this one. We don't want you having to hunch over. And the reason we don't want you hunching over with something like this is for many people, if they want to get this hamstring stretch, they end up using their low back to get all the way to the floor. But the key is we got to keep the low back tight. For a lot of sciatic issues, the problem really stems in the low back, so we want to protect our low back. So the way we do that is we're actually going to bring our foot up. You can put that on a chair, whatever lifts the leg up. Now from there, to engage really the sciatic nerve and really get a deep stretch along the entire leg, what we're going to do is we're first going to pull our toe up. We're going to pull it towards us this way. And for some of you, you may already feel a stretch in the back of the calf, going into behind the knee. That's okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to engage our core, sit up nice and tall, and then lean forward. The goal isn't to touch our toes. The goal is to get the stretch. So we're going to stay nice and tall and lean forward until you feel a stretch. And you'll find it doesn't take a lot to get that stretch in there. And you're going to want to hold this one again for 30 seconds to a minute with this, and switch both sides with this one. Okay, last one here is going to be your quads. Now, quads aren't often talked about when it comes to sciatic nerve issues, but these play a big role in hip mobility. And if your hips become immobile, they get tighter. That keeps contracting on your piriformis and your sciatic nerve. The quads are such a big, dominant muscle that if they get chronically tight, they end up jamming your hip, end up pulling the hip closer into the socket, create tons of pressure into the hip. So they're a really important muscle to make sure you're stretching often for many people. So the way that we do the quad stretch is you're going to go down into a cross position like this. Now the difference is you can see on my back leg up here, I'm keeping my toe on the floor with this one. And the reason is it's going to help engage the quad muscle quicker. So we're going to go down into this position. We're going to sit up nice and tall. You can use a chair for stability with this. I highly recommend you use like a chair or something to keep you balanced. Then what we're going to do is we're going to stay nice and tall, and we're going to lean our entire body. I want you to think from my hip to my shoulders as one straight line and one solid piece. This isn't going to move. So what we're going to do is we're then going to shift the entire body forward. Now you can see as I shift forward, I'm not trying to push my hips forward. I'm not trying to push my body forward. I want my whole body as a unit to shift forward, really focusing the stretch into your quad muscle. The key with this, keeping the core tight. Really contract your core, engage your abs as you're doing this, and that'll help focus the stretch into your quad, into your hip flexor. Now for some of you, if that's too much of a stretch, just putting your foot up, you can actually put the foot down a little bit. It'll start to get a little bit more of the hip flexor as well. And with this one, the quad is such a big muscle. With this one, you're going to go a minute, probably even a minute and a half for some of you if these are really, really tight. Go both sides again with this one. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this video. Hopefully these exercises and stretches were really helpful for you and help relieve some of those sciatic nerve issues that you have. Now, if you like this video, make sure you give it that thumbs up so other people know this is a great video as well. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you click that red button to subscribe, because we got some more awesome content coming your way, but you're only gonna hear about it if you click that subscribe button. So make sure you click that button, and we'll see you guys on the next video.